6:30. You're live here on GHOne TV. This is News Tonight with me, Natalie, for a look at our top stories. Coming up tonight, GoldBod CEO Sammy Gyamfi to face no further actions for his gaffe involving US dollar cash gifts to preacher Nana Agrada as presidency deems he satisfied remedies for his actions. Also coming up, 3 gold smugglers to face prosecution under the new gold trading laws following GoldBod national security operation arresting 6 persons. Traders associations assure Ghanaians that prices of goods on the market will see significant reduction in 60 days following good performance of the cedi. And in sports, Nations FC confirms readiness to pay fine imposed on player Emmanuel Annor following an "I belong to Jesus" inscription displayed beneath his jersey during a match. We bring you the details of these stories and much more news here on News Tonight. Tuesday. Watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV, live all across the world on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. Top on the bulletin this evening, Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachiofosu, says embattled acting chief executive of GoldBod, Sammy Gyamfi, will face no further sanctions for his gaffe involving the US dollar cash gifts to preacher Patricia Asiedua Esiama, popularly known as Nana Agrada. This follows widespread public outrage and condemnation from various groups, including CSOs and the opposition MPP, calling for his removal from office, citing alleged breaches of the Code of Conduct and the Bank of Ghana Foreign Exchange Act of 2006, Act 723. However, the Ibra Asebu Kwamankese MP explained during a press engagement at the presidency that Sammy Gyamfi has satisfied the remedies for his actions and the government does not intend to take any further action.
The presidency acknowledges Mr. Sammy Gyamfi's immediate act of contrition and the acknowledgement of the need to express regrets over that incident. So that apology has been taken on board. You do recall that when President Obama launched the Code of Conduct, he said that one of the remedies for any potential breach was a public apology. He also said one of the potential remedies was a caution from the highest levels of government. After the interaction with the Chief of Staff cautioned him, having acknowledged the apology he made, he cautioned him and impressed upon him to take on board public sentiment and act in ways that reflect public, to reissue the same caution that the president had sent to all appointees to be circumspect in their conduct. There may be things that may be commonplace in our private lives, but once you become a public official, you need to be sensitive to public expectation, and therefore that ought to guide the way that you order your steps. So in view of that, presidency does not believe that any further action ought to be taken beyond the apology and the caution.
Let's stay on this issue. Wale MP Dr. Tia Abdul Kabiru Mahama has been vocal against the actions of Sammy Gyamfi in this dollar gift issue. He joins now for more. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. Now, it appears that Sammy Gyamfi, as you know, has been let off the hook. What are your initial reactions to this decision taken?
Right, so thank you very much. And if you indulge me, I would kindly ask that there is a bit of noise at the back. I don't know what I said. It's a fan, but I can barely hear you. But I just want to say good evening to you and to your cherished listeners and viewers. The President, through the Minister responsible for government communication, has stated the position of the President. And that position is the fact that they are pardoning Mr. Sammy Gyamfi for the misconduct. I'm disappointed. Sure, the minority is disappointed. We are disappointed at the turn of events. We are disappointed because the President has reduced his old code of conduct to a mere paper, a paper that is selective in its application, a paper that can only sanction the vulnerable, and a paper that is being applied at the whims and caprices of the President. We are not just disappointed in the President in the fact that he cannot even hold his appointees accountable by his own guidelines and by his own code of conduct. We are equally disappointed in the fact that the President, on the face of a clear breach of a statute, the laws of the country, which the President promised and swore an oath to protect and defend, the President also chose Mr. Sammy Gyamfi over the laws of the country. And that is the more reason why we are disappointed, that on the face of obvious breach of a law of the country, Mr. President would decide to choose not to punish it. It is not, unfortunately, whereas apology is a remedy under the code of conduct, apology is not a remedy under the law that Mr. Sammy Gyamfi has breached. So clearly, Mr. Sammy Gyamfi now, for me, has committed, the blame is not more on him, the blame is now on the President. The President who has opportunity to, act in accordance with the laws of the country. He has decided to become a lame duck. The President has decided to take up the role as a clearing agent. The President has basically thrown to the dogs the rule of law, the fidelity to the laws of the country, and the need to respect the statute are so enacted by Parliament. So basically, the President has not given me hope why I should still sit in Parliament and make laws, because I don't see the President enforcing sin even when you pass those laws.
For purposes of time, you say that you're disappointed in President John Dramani Mahama and he can't seem to hold his appointees accountable, in your words. What's your next line of action going to be, if any?
Well, the President is refusing to work. The minority and individuals within the minority, and I'm convinced that we have the option of forcing the institutions of state work. The respective agency responsible for investigating and initiating prosecution, we would force them to work. Private member has also initiated a process of asking Shura to go into a different aspect of it, that is abuse of office, possible abuse of office. That is a course we will support, and we will open up this discussion. Like we stated in our press conference, that is available to us, we will use that. But you see, the President has just failed a first major test of his office. In 120 days, he has failed to live up to his own words that he promised the good people of Ghana just a few days at the launch of his code of conduct.
Very well. We'd have to draw the curtains here. Thanks for your time. Wale MP joining us there. Dr. Abdul Kabiru Mahama on that issue. Well, still on the presidency, the committee set up by President Mahama to inquire into 3 petitions filed against the Chief Justice will begin tomorrow, Thursday, 15th May. The 5-member committee, chaired by Supreme Court Justice Gabriel Scott Poimang, will sit 3 times weekly and present findings to the President upon completion of their work. Next here on News Tonight is Business Brief. In business this evening, the Ghana Gold Board has announced the deportation of 3 out of 6 foreign nationals arrested for smuggling gold. The remaining 3 will face prosecution under the new gold trading laws. The Ghana Gold Board, in collaboration with National Security, arrested 3 Indian nationals for engaging in illegal gold trading, bringing the total number of foreigners arrested to 6. According to police, the suspects were arrested in Eninam, located in the eastern region of Ghana. Items retrieved during the operation included gold bars, stacks of cash, and money counting machines. This latest arrest follows an earlier one on April 29, 2025, involving 3 other Indian nationals, which occurred before the Ghana Gold Board's official announcements directing foreign nationals to exit Ghana's gold trading market. National Security Coordinator DCOP Abdul Osman, during a press briefing, indicated that Ghanaians were involved in the illegal gold trading. According to him, these foreigners used the identities of the Ghanaians to register their companies in order to evade taxes and hide their faces. DCOP Osman assured that the Ghanaians involved will also be dealt with according to law. The Gold Board, in a statement earlier, announced that beginning May 1, 2025, all foreigners and individuals have been banned from trading in the local gold market in Ghana. This means that all other traders in the local gold market cannot deal in the gold trading business, as the Ghana Gold Board now has the exclusive authority to regulate and control artisanal and small-scale gold mining. More on this subsequently. Next, we bring you Insight. In business and an insight this evening, the Ghana Union of Traders Association of Ghana Industries and the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana and trade communities have assured Ghanaians that prices of goods on the market will see a significant reduction in 60 days. This follows appreciation of the cedi among major trading currencies. Despite the significant gains by the cedi, Ghanaians are calling for the reduction of goods. The Minister for Trades, Industry and Agribusiness, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare, earlier today met sector players to discuss ways to cushion the consuming public. Addressing the media after a closed-door meeting, the minister revealed that the government has created an enabling environment as sector players have assured price reduction in 60 days.
I'm happy to inform you that the direct importers have agreed to reduce their prices, and some have already started that already. We've also heard from GUTA and AGI that it is good that the cedi has stabilized. They need a bit of time to let this reflect in their prices. It will happen gradually. The direct importers have started reducing their prices for the retailers, and this will be total when the old stock comes down. They're able to find an average from the new stock and the old stock, and prices will certainly go down. But this will be total in about 60 days. We hope that the cedi will keep doing well. We hope that all the indicators will even improve, and they are happy to let the general public and consumers take a benefit of the stabilized economy.
Meanwhile, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, on his part, assured that despite significant gains and readiness by members to reduce prices of goods, the government must put in place measures to sustain the cedi's appreciation.
We will do our job. We will respond positively. The market forces will determine the prices, and it will respond positively. We are in a highly competitive market. Importers most importers have started getting benefits of this, and most of them have started showing and sharing the benefit to the consuming public. You just have to set the market and you'll fund this. But all that we need is for government to do its work, do whatever it is to sustain this, and by 2 months' time, everybody in the country will witness the fact that the business community also think about the consuming public.
Well, joining us via Zoom now is the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki Awingobits. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us this evening. Now, considering this 60 days deadline presented by the Trades Minister, how exactly will this price reduction impact exports?
Yeah, it is important that while you have what you call it city stability, the minister is appealing to the business community to give my cut. The business community to, as a matter of fact, look into the progress government has done, and also do something to support our Ghanaian brothers and sisters in terms of the pricing. And also, strongly, I believe that it is in the right direction, the right call, and so it's important that as we appeal to business community, especially those who are having what you call it the importers, to as a matter of fact accept the appeal and then reduce the prices so that our brothers and sisters can also enjoy the benefit or the progress of the city's appreciation by the government. My receipt.
Now briefly, you explain how it's going to impact from the import side of things. How about the export side? If you could better paint a picture of what the benefits are in that regard.
No, we don't even have much export. We are, as a country, this is now that we are now pushing for more to go into export. And so, the answer of the city stability is as a result of government fiscal policy. We are rather going to encourage more people to do export, to bring export into the country, to bring the proceeds back home, and that will go along with to support the industry, and that will go along with to also support government, and that will also go along with to support the city from further depreciation. I strongly believe that is the way to go. We have to push for more export, both traditional and non-traditional commodity export, so that it can benefit all of us as a country. So, yes, of course, in as much as we want to, the government have done good by stabilizing the city, it is prudent on us to leadership to appeal to the importers that when you bring your cargo and the city is stable for you, you should also go ahead to reduce the prices for the Ghanaian public. And so that is what we are talking about. It is an appeal, as the minister said. It is not a force. Government is not imposing any force on the business community, but government is appealing that while government has been able to work to affect the system, there's a need for government to make sure that Ghanaians to also recognize the effort government has done so far, and then respond to the call. The market forces will even push for the reduction of the price, as the President even called this evening, this morning when he spoke to the media. I strongly believe that is the way to go, and then we can only appeal to the business community to, as a matter of fact, also think about the Ghanaian consumers, and that is the right direction that we are talking about. Indeed, the President inaugurated a committee that has to do with Export Accelerated Development Council. And so, as we speak, I'm part of that committee, and I know that most of the work that we have to do is to root for more export, showcase Ghanaian wealth, our products and programs, and make sure that at least we push more into the the rest of the country well to come and buy. When they talk of export of product, then it should be coming from Ghana. And so I can tell you, when we do more export, more non-traditional commodity exportation, we will bring the forest back to cushion our city from further depreciating, and the city will then soar and appreciation as it stands now. We are looking forward to see a sustainability, and that's as you heard of the Asia president spoke. I'm told he said that, and you just played that a few minutes ago, that government should give them some few days, 2 weeks. We actually want to see whether this 3 weeks is it going to continue, and so that as import cycle is about 3 months. What will we see within 2 months, 3 months? And of course, naturally, the prices itself will definitely reduce, and that is what is going to happen, so that consumers' purchasing power can increase, and that is the way to go.
Thank you so much, sir. That's Samson Awingobit, Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, joining us following this development. Well, let's now go onto the phone lines and engage with Executive Chairman of the Food and Beverages Association, Reverend GHOne Awuni. He's in fact joining us via Zoom. Good evening to you, sir, and thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. Now, first of all, if you could give us some details into what transpired during this meeting with the minister today, some of the concerns that were put forward and how they're likely to be addressed.
Thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. Apparently, the meeting was I was represented by my Executive Secretary, Mr. Sammy Agui, and as it was just a very pretty short meeting. Because as the minister indicated, he was she was in a hurry. So it was within about 15 to 20 minute meeting where the minister wanted to know what businesses were going to do to allow the strength of the cedi against the dollar reflect in the market. That is to say, to what extent or what are we going to do to let consumers enjoy the current strength of the cedi against the dollar. And so basically that was what it is, because it's just maybe, let me say, an addition to what the Honorable Finance Minister had with us last week, Thursday. So this is what transpired. And then we noted that, yes, we are very interested in letting the general public enjoy the benefits of the strength of the cedi against the dollar. But that cannot be an overnight experience. As my brother Samson Asaki said, the import cycle is a 3-month cycle. So if you imported goods about 3 months ago, indeed, the lady that I discussed, who I was talking with this evening, and she indicated that she ordered for goods from China in November. The goods arrived in November, in February. At the time that she ordered the goods, the exchange rate was 17.2 cedis. At the time that the goods arrives, the duty that she paid, the exchange rate for the duty was 15.4 cedis. And today, the goods are being sent into the market, and the exchange rate, the Bank of Ghana rate is 12.6 or so cedis to $1. So it's a whole mixed bag of issues. So you cannot just see that prices, exchange cedi is gaining strength. So tomorrow you find that the prices drop. Businesses don't operate like that. What is much more critical in this whole phenomena is that the cedi should remain very stable. It should, if it's gaining strength, it should gain strength to a certain level and remain stable. And when it remains stable, it allows businesses to be able to plan. When it remains stable, it allows businesses to be able to speculate well. But as we speak, for instance, on Friday, the Bank of Ghana was giving one rate, and then the black market was giving another rate. And most businesses get their dollars from the black market, because when they go to the banks tell them that they don't have dollars. But if they know some black market people, and they can call the black market people to supply them the dollars. So it is it is a whole mixed bag of issues that we need to deal with. But if the cedi remains very stable over a period of about 6 to 1 year, you will definitely find goods prices not only reducing, but they will reduce and also be very stable.
Right.
And most importantly, as we are in an import market where most of our goods are imported, The goods largely that you can see in the current Ghanaian market, which ought to reflect what is happening, should be the plantain, should be the pepper, should be the tomato, the beans, the garri, the ginger, the onion, and all that. Unlike whatever is happening, because as we are talking about rice, sugar, and all others, you are seeing that clearly many other foreign local goods are going up. Roasted plantain, you cannot buy it less than 50 cedis today.
Reverend
if you want to have
you're
lunch.
Therefore saying that this should reflect in items that we grow, which we produce and grow here in Ghana, as opposed to what we import. Although, as you mentioned, we are mostly an import-driven economy. But it appears also that consumers, you have explained the cycle, but consumers express some concern that when we find that there's a depreciation of the cedi, there is not much time taken to increase the prices of goods. However, in this event where there's an appreciation of it, 60 days are required for this price reduction of goods on the market. And you say that what is key is that the cedi remains stable, and you put a period of about 6 months to a year. So how soon are we likely to see these prices generally reduce on the market?
You see, generally, how soon is what we as a group have said that between 60 to more days, and then more days, you will find there's a trend. There's already rice prices have reduced, sugar have gone up, gone down. Between 7 to 10% prices have dropped, and they continue to go down. But if you are not going to have a mass market, the entire market experiencing price drops, what I am saying is that this whole issue about price high prices and people quick to increase prices is a whole national thing. And I had an opportunity to tell the finance minister that this is supposed to be a national campaign. Look, since January, the price of fuel has relatively been stable. The price of the exchange rate has really, the cedi has been gaining strength against the foreign currencies. Largely, everything has remained kind of quite favorable to the country, but a cheaper truck of sand has gone up from 2,400 to 3,000 from where I live. The quarry stones has gone up from 3,400 to 4,000. A box of tiles that is produced just in the central region here has gone up from about 103 cedis to about 130 cedis. Local plantain, the roasted plantain, has gone up from about 5 cedi per slide to 7 cedis.
Reverend Awuni, for purposes of time, we'd have to round it up. But from what you say, it's likely to take a little, possibly, it could take more than 60 days for these price reductions on the market. It's a possibility.
Very possible, because it's already happening. And we are talking about the larger group. You find out that within 60 and more days, more especially if the cedi remains not only strong, but stable.
Very well. Reverend Gyamfi Awuni, thank you so much for your time this evening. Executive Chairman of the Food and Beverages Association, joining us on that issue. Now that wraps up Insight.
Reduction.
Still on business news this evening, Vice Chairman of the Railway Workers Union in Accra, Michael Clements, is warning that members of the union will hit the streets to protest if management fails to meet their demands within a week. Speaking in an exclusive interview with GHOne News, he acknowledged that the second day of the nationwide strike ended with no communication from management. Clements further noted that the silence across the country's railway stations is only a signal of what could escalate if their concerns remain unresolved. Mary Appiah visited the Accra railway station and reports.
Of the railway workers' strike was marked with silence gripping the Accra railway station. No trains, no movement, only the visible weight of frustration and unpaid labor. Speaking to GHOne News, the Vice Chairman of the Railway Accra Branch Workers Union, Michael Clements, said a week's ultimatum has been set for management to pay all outstanding salaries, lest the union embarks on a nationwide protest.
We are tired. We can't continue like this. So we don't mind whether it is new or old. We want our money. By the end of the week, we'll hear from them. That is the target we've given ourselves. So if we don't hear from them, then the next level, we'll hit the streets.
The usually active Accra railway station is now deserted with no trains, no passengers, no activity, just frustration hanging in the air. The aggrieved workers say they have shown enough patience, but survival without pay is becoming impossible.
Because a of lack of science in Kofi. Yabka Kuntum, Yawaha, Yamba school fees, Ayabasa, Yamba walk school, university, in Tumuntia, even at home, former do copy in Tumuntia because of lack of salary. In Sebastia, the government, the Ombudsman on Bohen, our dumb type of region, what we see. Make sure what try do but say yes, can you damain? Am I answer 100 Yakaka?
Easy, light bill, water bill, a business nature because light bill or your visa. Water bill or your visa, a dinosaur the more visa. Wow, you brilliant lifestyle because without money you cannot live. You know, when my wife it's a walla. My wife it's a walla. Into who couldn't bear 7 months and won't how will you feel?
Piles, who is a station master at the Achimota railway station, tells us the effect of the strike goes beyond the workers.
Yesterday, for instance, a lot of people were around asking for the train. Where is the train? When is the train coming? And in fact, it caused traffic since yesterday. It's going to affect their market, especially their market timing, because mostly they come to the market early in the morning, and the train normally from Accra to Achimota, as I said, from Accra to Achimota, is just like 10 minutes. But if you come with a normal passenger car, it will take you like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and it's a cost too. It's a cost too. But with the train, because it's a shuttle service, everyone is enjoying it, and everyone is having free to take it too. With no word from management or government, workers say they are ready to take their grievances to the streets if nothing changes within the next few days. For GHOne News, Mary Appiah.
Well, let's stay a bit more on this issue and speak with the PRO of the Ghana Railway Company Limited, Thomas Brown. He joins me via phone now. Good evening to you, Thomas. Thank you for joining us this evening. Now, first of all, how exactly is management engaging with the Railway Workers Union over these concerns that have been raised?
Good evening to you, and let me take this opportunity to again say a very good evening to our cherished railway staff. Yes, like you said, it is true that the railway worker hasn't been paid for the last 7 months, and it is also true they informed management of their decision to embark on a strike. And of course, when this information came to management just yesterday, management met all the staff members, in a form of a staff deba, where management had to brief them on all the steps that it has taken as management. And the good news there is that, of course, government has given approval for all our arrears to be settled. So for me, I would take this opportunity to also plead with our workers or colleagues that I empathize with myself. I'm also in it. I haven't been paid for 7 months. I have families. But then, like the management led by the MD told them yesterday in our, deba, government has given us assurances. And we are just hoping that, we will not even get to the ultimatum that we just gave. So government has, taking series of steps. I remember right on the very first day that this government came into inception, the management went to meet the Honorable Minister, that's the Honorable Nipe, and then he even gave us assurance of he and his government settling all those arrears. And ever since, government has been holding deliberations with him, and it's been fruitful. And like I said, approval has been given. The only issue is with the processes, and this process can be very bureaucratic. And that is why I would plead with my colleagues to exercise patience as management also continues to engage with the government, via the sector minister, for things to be resolved.
Right, Thomas. So you say that government has given assurance that these payments will be made. You mentioned the long processes or the bureaucratic processes. Is that what has caused the delay in salary payments? Is that the only reason?
Exactly. So this approval just came some few weeks back, and I'm not an accountant, but my understanding is that once government decides to pay, it goes through a series of processes. So my little knowledge is that if the finance ministry gives the approval or makes the payment, it at a point in time will go through the Bank of Ghana and even the controller before it hits the account of the ministry before it in turn pays to us. So these are the processes. And I'm privy to this process. That's why I can only plead with them to exercise patience. And hopefully, sooner than later, we'll hear some good news. So the good news is that there's that approval given by this government and the sector minister. And that is what we are counting on. And I can only, as an individual, be Oliver Twist and plead with the sector minister to help us to fast track the processes.
Right. So, Thomas, with your role, you cannot specify when or what timeline.
You see, I'm being careful to give timelines. Because of my situations I have now. But if I have to stick my neck out, I'm just hoping that we'll not even get to the 30th of May. But like I said, I'm being careful in giving timeline. Once there's that assurance, there's that approval, I can only trust the words of the minister and this government. In all our dealings, they have shown us good faith. And for now, I don't have any reason to doubt their trust or to doubt their words. So, like I said, I will not stick them out to give timelines, but I know that will be very soon than later. It possibly might be either by the end of this month or hopefully early part of next month. But like I said, I'm unable to give timelines, but hopefully it will be very soon.
Thomas Brown, thank you so much for speaking with us this evening. That's the PRO of the Ghana Railway Company Limited. More on that development subsequently. In other news, South Day MP Roxin Nelson Dafiamepo has dragged a Sin South MP Reverend GHOne Intim-Fodwo to the High Court over what he describes as defamatory comments made against him on social media. In the writ, Dafiamepo is seeking damages, a retraction and an apology over allegations linking him to bribery in the passage of the legislative instruments in Parliament. The defendants, according to the suit, accused the MP of benefiting from 360,000 cedis paid to a parliamentary committee to influence the approval of an LI. The plaintiff insists that these claims are false, reckless, and have damaged his reputation. He is demanding that the apology be published in a national newspaper and on social media within 7 days of judgment, should the court rule in his favor. There you see on your screens details of this statement and what is being sought for as a result of this defamation suit. And the particulars on this is that on the 8th of May 2025, the defendant made this post about him on X. And in the said post, the following defamatory statements were made of the plaintiff. So these are the statements, that the defamatory statements which were made of the plaintiff, and that's Dafiamepo. Honourable Roxin Nelson Dafiamepo, MP for South Day and Majority NDC Chief Whip in Parliament, was Vice Chairman to the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation at the time Edu Boahen allegedly paid 360,000 cedis to the committee for passing an LI. Is it not fair that a transparent probe is conducted for Honourable Dafiamepo to appear and answer questions to confirm or deny the serious allegation levelled against his committee? So this was put forward by Reverend Intim-Fodwo. When the probe begins, NDC and every other person indicted will take their turns to explain how much of the 49 million they looted. The probe is necessary and cannot be evaded. They should therefore get ready with their responses. That was what was put up in a tweet by Intim-Fodwo. And the plaintiff claims against the defendants as follows. So these are the claims being put forward by Dafiamepo. A declaration that the statements made by the defendants against the plaintiff in paragraph 7 in this statement of claim and published on X is false, is malicious and defamatory of him. That's of the plaintiff. And it's further seeking other reliefs that as you saw earlier, that this is taken down and that it's published in a newspaper. expressing the fact that that's published coming out from Ntim Fodjo, expressing the fact that these claims put forward towards Gaffe Amekpo are false. These are some of the reliefs and orders being sought by the plaintiff in the person of Gaffe Amekpo. So those are the details of this defamatory suit that has been put forward by South Day MP Roxin Nelson Gaffe Amekpo, dragging a Sin South MP Reverend Ntim Fodjo to the High Court. We'll certainly bring you more on that subsequently. You're watching News Tonight. Do stay with us. Welcome back to News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Let's turn to the health sector now. The Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association has given the government a 14 working days ultimatum to provide financial clearance for the payment of their national service allowance. According to them, the delay in service allowance has become a recurring issue dating back 4 years. They further highlighted that the delay in payment has tragically led to the loss of 5 colleagues' lives due to their inability to finance their medical treatment, with 6 others diagnosed with chronic ailments who urgently require financial assistance to save their lives. Here, Neza Boateng, national president, addressing the press earlier today.
I have been diligently working since May 2024, almost a full year, without receiving financial clearance, thereby depriving us of our rightful allowances. These repeated delays reflect a systematic neglect that has persisted over 4 years, with little to no meaningful intervention from the Ministry of Health. In April 2024, Honorable George Opariado, now Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, condemned these delays in public statements, giving us hope for change. Unfortunately, since the change in administration, all efforts to engage the relevant ministries and authorities have been unsuccessful. Should our concerns remain unresolved, we will be compelled to withdraw our services nationwide until further notice. While we lack the financial strength to stage public demonstrations, we will not work under such dehumanizing conditions. We will only return to duty when our rightful demands are met.
Now, joining us in studio for a conversation is the National President of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, Ebenezer Boateng. Ebenezer, good to have you in studio. Welcome. Now, you have given the government a 14-day ultimatum to pay your outstanding service allowance. You say that failure to do so will embark on further action. First of all, clarify, have you exhausted the other avenues that are available to have this issue addressed?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I would say yes, because since the new government took over, we've written severally to our stakeholders, which is the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance. The last time we wrote our petitions, it didn't end there. It didn't end with the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Health. We petitioned other stakeholders as well. We petitioned the National Service Authority, the Ghana Health Service, National Youth Authority, Youth Employment Agency, among other offices. But it's so sad that up to now we haven't heard from any of them, and then all efforts to reach them for a feedback too has proven futile.
So you're saying that sending out petitions to all these agencies, your key stakeholders and others you just mentioned, none at all have gotten back to you?
None of them, please.
And your measures to follow up, none have? How so that they've proven futile?
Yes, it makes us feel that we are insignificant, because should we be significant, they will take us serious, because this is not the first time we are crying about our unpaid allowances. It has been persistent for about 4 years now, and every year we keep complaining. This new administration even condemned it in April last year through the youth organizer, Honorable Jojo Pariado, who is now the Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment. He released a presser to condemn the delays, and also to condemn the fact that we have to stay in the house for about 3 or 4 years before being posted.
And his ministry was one of those that you sent these petitions to, and you haven't heard a response from him?
Yes,
either.
please.
I see. So you mentioned that it makes you feel like you're insignificant as a body. However, your services are essential, right? So taking this step of any further action, if your responses are not met by the government, what further action will this be, and how much of an impact is it? It's certainly likely to have a grave impact on the Ghanaian people.
Sure, that's the saddest part of the story. Ghanaians will be at the losing side, because we can't consistently work with hunger, with an empty stomach, because a hungry man is an angry man. Some of these issues result in some nurses and midwives speaking to clients anyhow, because the person is hungry. So if you approach him or her in any manner he or she is not comfortable with, they may reply in a way you will also not be comfortable with. Again, you go to the facilities and you see nurses and midwives with their phones. Some of them are doing online businesses because they are not being paid, so they have to engage in these things.
They're not working professionally in essence as a result.
So we don't endorse the fact that they should be on their phones whilst at the facility. But if they don't do that, how do they survive? Right. Should they go and then accept proposals from some people's husbands?
So talking about that, how are they coping? How, from your engagement with the members, how are they coping? You say, according to your press statement, since May 2024, you haven't received a single service allowance at all.
Sure.
Right? Correct?
We don't even have the financial clearance yet. Not even to talk of having the hope that the allowances will be coming this month or next month. We don't have the financial clearance yet. And the ministry, after all our efforts, have given us no word about our clearance. And now we don't need a word. We need a clearance within 14 working days. So with my people, the guys, most of us, we are engaging into sports betting.
You are.
The shortcut to getting money to sort some things out. Yes, sports betting.
Right.
And some of us too, we are engaged in other businesses as well. So I will be at the facility, all right, but I will be praying that it will be 2 p.m. so that I can go,
get going.
Yes, and do my business. And that's not helping the profession, because after work we have to come back, do more research on some conditions that came to the facility, prepare for the next day, but we don't get it that way. Right from work, we have to think of other means of getting money, and that's not helping the profession.
What's your next? You mentioned these 5 colleagues who you say lost their lives as a result. You're certain that is why they lost their lives?
Yeah, I can't.
Or are you sort of drawing conclusions there?
Yes, I can't attribute their loss of life to that. But partly, you see, I'm with a chronic condition, and I need medication, which costs around 500 cedis every month. So if this 815 Ghana cedis we are supposed to receive monthly is coming, at least I could have bought the drugs.
For that.
So if it doesn't come and I'm not able to afford the drugs and I pass away, what should I attribute it to? Yes,
So
you
you're
didn't
linking,
pay me.
You're linking the
Yes.
two. Okay. So finally, what's your next line of action going to be? You mentioned these 14 days. If after this period your demands are not met or you haven't received a clear feedback from the government, what are you going to do as a
Okay, so within the next 14 working days, we are expecting to receive our financial clearance. If we don't get our financial clearance within the 14 working days, we will just lay down our tools. We will go on a strike, a nationwide strike, and we don't know when we are coming back because we will only return when we receive our allowances in our bank account, and also an assurance that our junior colleagues will receive the allowances on a monthly basis.
Ebenezer Bossing, thank you for your time this evening. We'll certainly engage you in subsequent bulletins as this issue develops. That's the National President of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association joining us there. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. And some other news. Despite the growing demand for strategic human resource leadership across Ghana, the country continues to face a significant shortage of research-driven and industry-ready HR professionals. To address this gap, the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, in collaboration with the University of Ghana Business School, has launched a human resource professional chair aimed at bridging the divide between academic theory and real-world HR practice.
The newly launched professorial chair is expected to spearhead advanced research, shape HR policy, and mentor the next generation of professionals capable of navigating Ghana's dynamic labor market. Speaking at the launch, head of the Human Resource Department at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Obi Beko, stressed that the program will complement government's efforts by providing evidence-based insights to inform public policy and national development.
We thought that one of the things we could do is that we create a professorial chair to be able to link the academics to the practice and also contribute to what the government is doing in terms of public policy. There's a number of things that HR can do. In Ghana, we have the Fair Wages Commission, we have the Labor Union, we have Public Service Commission, but we don't normally hear of the HR body, professional body, university, contributing to government policy and so on and so forth. We thought that one of the things we should do immediately it was formed is to outdoor what we are doing today.
President of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, Florence Hatchful, also addressed the media, announcing plans to expand the initiative to other universities across the country.
Just as we've supported University of Ghana Business School in actually organizing this launch, we will be giving similar support to all the other universities as well, using our network to ensure that they're able to solicit the funding that is required to implement the professorial chairs programs. So far, we've signed an MOU with Central University as well, and we're hoping that maybe down the line they can also establish a professorial chair, as well as in KNUST and UPSA. So we're hoping that, the professorial chairs will be established in all the various institutions.
The event brought together a cross-section of stakeholders, including academia, HR practitioners, and policymakers who discussed strategies to strengthen collaboration between industry and education, a crucial step towards meeting Ghana's evolving workforce demands.
You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Next on the bulletin, we bring you sports news with Joel Ichampong. Joel?
Exactly, we've got lots and lots to talk about, Natalie. A player had to take his shirt off after scoring a goal, and then you see, I belong to Jesus. Yeah. It's raised several controversies. So we've got this and many more on this sports segment. Yeah. All right, so there's many more here on the sports segment. Do not go anywhere. We're back shortly. All right, we start off with Public Relations Officer for Nations FC, Clement Appiah, who has confirmed that the club is prepared to pay the fine of 500 Ghana cedis imposed on them by the Ghana Football Association Disciplinary Committee on player Emmanuel Annor. The fine was issued after Annor displayed an inscription reading, "I belong to Jesus," beneath his jersey during the match.
As to whether Annor was aware or not, that is another story. And we as Nations FC have not typically educated our players on the laws of the game as specified to this level. But Annor is a member of a group. I think the group is on Instagram called Ballers in Christ. It's a group of footballers that seeks to use football to propagate the gospel of Christ. When this issue came up, we as Nations FC pleaded guilty with the FA, and we are aware of the players at fault. We wrote to the FA seeking for mercy, and as a matter of fact, we have accepted the fine that the FA has slapped on us because we know that it is in breach of the IFA law of the game. So, Annor is a strong Christian, as we all know, but as my brother correctly said, you cannot use your belief in favor at the expense of the laws of the game. You have your belief somewhere, and the laws of the game is also there. If you want to abide by the laws of the game, then definitely you have to set aside your belief. You have many ways of propagating your belief to the world, and we think that going forward is an education that we will have to put across to all our players. And as Willie said, this education should start before the season, and we are going to incorporate that into our preseason activities.
All right, and speaking on the subject, religion in football, analyst and Pastor Jerome Autry expressed the view that there is no need to mix professional duties with personal religious expressions. He emphasized that Emmanuel should have known better.
I want to think that maybe he knew, and he knows that because the world has long rejected Christ, if you want to proclaim Christ anywhere, the world will come at you. And I want to think that he understands what he has done, and he must pay the price for, doing what he did. Indeed, if you follow Christ, there's a cost to that. And anybody following Christ shouldn't be afraid of that cost if you understand what you are doing. Beyond that, I think that assuming he doesn't know, he needs to be told that Nations as a football club has subscribed to Ghana Football Association regulations. The Ghana Football Association, as a member association of FIFA, has also subscribed to FIFA regulations, and FIFA regulations clearly forbid what he did. I have told people, a lot of people have been asking me since morning.
Meanwhile, sports analyst Benjamin Graham believes the lawmakers are trying to minimize the potential fallout from issues such as this, as failing to do so to allow religious messaging to dominate the narrative in football.
I reckon the makers or the framers of the law are trying to minimize or mitigate these sort of effects, because other than that, we might have a situation where now it's going to be religious messaging in football players. Because remember, all these players are coming from diverse religions. Not every player is a Christian, not every player is a Muslim, not every player is practicing any of the religions. So you try as much as possible to mitigate these effects, to accommodate everybody, whichever religion you belong to, so we all can have a very genuine football atmosphere. So I would say that based on the thinking of the lawmakers, they're looking at this.
All right, that's it for sports here. Over to you, Natalie.
Thank you, Joel, for the sports news. Interesting developments. Exactly. He scored a beautiful goal as well.
He did.
Thank you. It's good having you with the sports segment. You're watching News Tonight. You've got EZO next. In entertainment news, South Africa's Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille is urging Africans to proudly showcase the continent whenever they get the chance. She also called on investors, including those in the diaspora, to channel their resources into developing the country. Minister de Lille made these remarks at the launch of Africa's Travel in Daba 2025, held at the Nkosi Albert Luthuli International Convention Center in Durban.
Come and find your joy. Come and build your future. Come and shape our beloved continent. And with those few words, once again, I will welcome the Deputy President later on. But for now, we just want to show off. You know, we like to brag. We like to showcase our continent. And we're very proud of our continent. We love this continent. And this is a truly, truly Pan-African event.
Next, we've got international news. At least 50 Palestinians have been killed in a series of Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza. The Indonesian hospital in North Gaza reports that 22 children and 15 women were among the dead after a number of homes in Jabaila town and refugee camp were hit overnight. A video shared online appeared to show at least a dozen bodies on the floor. The Israeli military said it was looking into the reports. And that is how we draw the curtains on News Tonight this evening. Please do visit our website, starfm.com.gh, for lots more local and international stories. I am Natalie. Fort was produced by Eko Boache and directed by Dan.